First, want to congratulate Steve Holm and Illinois State. What a good team. I know it hurts for them right now. It sucks being on the losing end of a game with this magnitude, but obviously they showed a lot of toughness that they deserve to be in the finals, and that rally they put together there late. And for a school like Louisville, we're proud of the Midwest kids. We've got so many Midwest kids in our program that we knew we were playing against 3 other teams from the Midwest, and to represent Midwest baseball, you got to see a lot of tough kids, a lot of good players, and so for me, this was a proud weekend. Obviously, these guys sitting next to me and our team, we showed a lot of toughness, and I'm most proud of that. We always say, if the stars got to line up for you to have success, you're probably not going to be real successful. Got to be able to handle the curveballs and the challenges, and we did it. I give them a lot of credit. Like I said, I'm super proud of them and happy to be in this position.
We're going to open it for the players. Alex, can you use Coach's mic?
Alex, you just talked about your game-winning hit, and kind of had a rough day up until then. I think your hit was good. Yeah.
I saw when I was on deck, I was really focusing on what they were doing to Fitzgerald. I saw a lot of off speed, trying to get him to, just hit a chopper somewhere. And my last at bat that I had, I saw 3 sliders, curveballs in the dirt, and I swung out all 3, and I knew that was going to be the approach to that at bat to try to get me out. And when I was up there, I was just looking for that, and saw it up and put a good swing and stayed up the middle, because I've been rolling over balls to the right side, and just when you stay middle, good things happen. And I really told myself stay middle, and good things happen.
Alex, when did you realize that it got out of the infield?
When it got right past shortstop's glove. I don't know, it may have hit the pitcher. I thought I heard something, but I saw it go past the shortstop, and the rest was history.
Did you take us through what happened after that, and did you ever find your shoe?
My shoe, I guess, was in the outfield somewhere, and my arm and leg guards were somewhere, and it was awesome jumping around with the guys. I got soaked. They were spraying me with water. It was something I'll never forget.
So you come to a program like this because you want to go to a super regional. For you, a freshman, to have that moment to send this team there, what does that mean to you?
It's awesome. Doing it with these guys, became so close. We're almost a family. And all the 6 a.m. workouts that we had together, and all the long practices that we had together in the heat and cold, and it's all for moments like this. And to do it with those guys behind me, it's unreal.
Trey, from your vantage point, his at bat being on third, just kind of take us through what you saw and what did it feel like to touch home?
We knew, Alex hits balls hard. More than likely, you're gonna have to get in front of a ball, and it's not gonna feel good. If it does hit you. So right away, I saw that swing, and I saw it hit the pitcher, and as hard as it was, I don't think anyone was gonna field that. And so as soon as he hit it, I was telling myself, there's no way. If they do field, I'm getting thrown out. So my mindset was, make it up for my boys, and lift myself up, lift the team up, and just make up for what happened.
What happened on that play?
So there's 2 outs. We were playing deep, no doubles, and I saw it off the bat. I didn't realize that it was dying as fast as it was, so I kind of last second, didn't know if to dive or if I catch in the air, so I kind of went down on the knee, and it just hit my glove and bounced away, and the kid ended up getting to third base.
Did anybody say anything to you when you went back to the dugout, or kind of what was said to kind of uplift you because you had to come up to bat?
I was obviously disappointed in myself, but running back, you realize how much work we've all put in as a team, and so there's no really point, to get down on yourself and make it about yourself. So I got back in, and everyone knows we're like a family here, so they're all lifting me up, telling me, as we say, it was a setup, so make up for it, do something big, and fortunately I got the bunt down to help win.
Trey, but mentally, trying to get that bunt down because it's so hard to execute that. Did you feel like you were in a good place there? And I think Coach said something to you right before you went through.
Yeah, before I was obviously shaking up in the dugout, and Coach Mack pulled me aside, got me to smile a little bit, raise it up. So they know, I'm usually always talking. I'm pretty annoying. Don't really stop talking. So if Coach Mack give me a smile, he knows I'm in a good place. So before I went up there, you know, he got me a smile, was talking to me, and then I just told myself, you know, make up for it, and that's just what I did.
Jake, you were voted most outstanding player of the Louisville Regional, on top of the fact that 3 of your 4 career home runs are in the NCAA tournament. What is it about the big stage that really elevates your game?
I don't know. I guess I just don't think probably as much, obviously, in the postseason. Kind of just let my ability kind of just take over. But I mean, it seems like good things happen, so I probably should start not thinking during the season.
What about Jake, what about your guys' ability to come out of the losers bracket and win 3 elimination games right in a row?
Right. I mean, it just shows how tough this team really is, even in a close game like this last game with Illinois State. I just didn't feel like there was any doubt, even going into the bottom of that 9th inning, that we're not going to win that game. Like I said, with our backs against the wall, facing elimination, really see what the team's made out of. It really shows just how tough this team is.
Trey, what did Coach say to you to make you smile?
You know, just trust everything we put in. You know, he probably said a joke about why I'm getting so hard on myself because, you know, I'm not usually one to not be smiling or laughing. So, I mean, I was so in the moment I don't really remember, but all I know is I was smiling. He said something, you know, I don't really remember for sure, but.
When you were standing out there after the play, you looked like somebody just run over your dog. And but crossing the plate had to be almost a euphoric, out-of-body type experience.
You didn't pull Linus on you, did you?
No, not too
I'll
bad.
pull Linus.
You know, yeah, I mean, obviously I was disappointed, but, you know, like Jake was saying, you see how tough we are, and we're obviously one of the toughest teams there is, if not the toughest. So, I mean, you got to forget about it. You got to flush it. You can't, you know, let your at-bat go to your defense or your defense go to your at-bats, and you just got to make positive out of everything.
Jake, you talked about the toughness. You guys had a lot of things go against you this weekend, and to come out, how good does it feel? And what, I mean, expound a little bit. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, that toughness, how kind of coaching instills that, you know, from, like he said yesterday, the moment you guys get here?
I mean, it means a lot. Obviously, we show up here in the summer, going our freshman year, and we get a taste of what Louisville baseball is all about in terms of the weight room and just school and everything. And it just goes kind of back to that, what we've been instilled with. And it's good that we have an older group that has actually been to Omaha, so we know what that's like. Because last year, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. So I mean, the older class knows just how good it feels. I mean, that just shows why we're so tough right now.
1 or 2 more.
Alex, to go back to your hit, were there any nerves or jitters at all when you stepped up to the plate?
No, I just trusted my ability, and I knew that my guys were behind me, and they trusted me, and just had the right approach up there. Just didn't have to do too much. Didn't have to hit it out of the park. Didn't have to hit in the gap anywhere. Just had to get it through the infield and just get 1 run across, and just trusted my abilities.
1 more.
Alex, do you remember? I know this might be a weird question. It might be hard to remember. What was the first thing kind of you remember from after Trey hitting home plate? Was it something you saw, something you heard, or?
What were you asking?
What's kind of the first thing that you remember after you had saw that single get through?
The first thing I remember is turning around and just getting a face full of water thrown at me, and all my guys running after me. Lost my shoe, lost everything, and it was unreal. It was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Man, was it difficult at all to keep these guys up after the losers, you know, after you lost that game, or were they pretty receptive to every?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's a competitive group, and like Jake said, you know, a lot of older guys, and you know, as I made the statement earlier, I challenge these guys all the time about just toughness and, you know, the curveballs of life, and you know, it's a frustrating game. It's a hard game, and so you got to be able to deal with failure. And that's I was teasing Trey. He didn't, you know, was it Linus, the character on Charlie Brown? We kind of pick on hitters, or you know, if you act like Linus, like you drag your towel behind you and you look kind of sad and mopey. So it's just something we challenge our players with, and you know, so I mean they go through it, and you know, I just tried to, you know, first thing was talk about the 07 team that they lost in the 1-0 game. Talk about all the teams that do it, you know, the 16 regional sites, and how many number 1 seeds lost in the 1-0 game. I read off about 5 or 6 schools, and that every year, you know, somebody's going to come through losing that 1-0 game, and why can't it be us? And so Lucas Dunn ran into Isaiah House that night at dinner, and Isaiah was part of the 07 team, and Lucas sent me a long text, so I sent the text to Coach Vrabel. Coach Vrabel sends it out to the whole team. So I wanted to share that moment that Lucas had with a player from the 07 team. Just making sure guys believe. I mean, you can do a lot of things with belief.
Dan, you talked about Linus and you joke a little bit, but to be in that situation, I don't know if you ever were in you've been as a player, now as a coach, to see it. How difficult is that for Trey to rebound and then execute a bunt like that?
It is. It's not easy. I mean, you know, as a coach and a parent, you know, you don't want him to feel like he's responsible. You know, yeah, you can see the body language. It's hard. I mean, like I said, you know, hopefully he'll learn from that. But what we talk about this game, it's what makes it a great game. You usually get a chance to redeem yourself. Usually, not all the time, but it's amazing how many times you get a chance to redeem yourself. So, you know, he had a good bunt, quality at bat. Of course, he runs the bases, puts a lot of pressure, and you know, let's not forget he was a big part of the rally to score. It didn't look like we were going to score, and Zeke, you know, has a great at bat, and so we run Trey, and Trey puts a lot of pressure on you. So the ball goes to the backstop, and so now you got pitched to a Zach Britton, you know, with a guy like Trey Leonard on base. So I mean, you know, Trey did a lot to help us get that rally going and score those 2 runs in that inning. So, and he was obviously a part of the last run.
A couple things that get maybe lost in the shuffle, the pinch hit and then the throw from Henry at that situation and the gun down the leadoff guy.
That's right. You know, I met with Zeke and Henry before the game today, and we've kind of had the 2-headed monster with those 2 as our catchers, and told Zeke he was going to start because Bennett was starting, and Zeke usually catches Nick, and but just gave Zeke the heads up. You know, obviously we could catch Henry today too, in a situation if we had the pinch hit or usually pinch run. You know, as good as Zeke is, he's not the fleetest of foot. You know, and just, you know, as a catcher, and so, you know, he knows we got a great base stealer in Trey, and you know, so we kind of prepared those guys that was going to happen. But you look back at the game, there's a lot. I mean, Jared Poland, you know, hasn't pitched, hurt his hand at Notre Dame on Derby weekend, and you know, hasn't pitched since then. And to throw a big inning like that in this game, you know, and you know, Bennett to bounce back and give us just that quality start. Hoeing, what was that, 5 innings? Yeah, there's a lot of guys that, you know, kind of you forget unless you really think about the entire game. And that's what I always tell kids. I mean, I get it for the media and in your world, you know, you remember the play that sticks out. You know, I got game notes from every game, and you know, I got 6-8 notes that we show on video and I teach the kids about, because I get it. Some people are just going to remember a certain play. I'm going to show you the play in the 2nd, the play in the 5th, the play in the 7th, that those could have just as much of an impact on the game as to the plays that everybody remembers. So that's just, I enjoy teaching the game throughout the season, and so you don't ever want kids to live and die off of one play.
Coach, Jake hit on it, like you guys have a pretty experienced team, pretty old team. Alex, one of the younger guys, what makes him so, I guess, I don't want to say made for that spot, but so calm in a moment like that in the bottom of the 9th inning?
I think, you know, and Tim did the story on Alex a few weeks ago, just about, you know, we talked about how mature and professional, you know, his dad played professional basketball, and, you know, Alex just seemed like we brought in a lot of talented kids. I think it was the 3rd ranked recruiting class in the country, and but, you know, that it's a big adjustment, you know, for freshmen, and Alex just seemed very businesslike. Never got too high, never got too low. And usually that's the, you know, it's that wide range where younger kids are just used to the high and they're not used to the lows. They don't fail before they get here. And I know when Tim did the story, I think Alex struck out like 4 times the night before, but I didn't even notice. I think that's an impressive thing. I always challenge our kids, you know, if your mom showed up in the 3rd inning and she looked out on the field, can she tell that you're 0 for 2 already or that you're 2 for 2? And a lot of kids you can tell. The great ones, the professional ones, the mature ones, you can't tell, you know. And so I didn't realize it that night when I spoke to Tim the next day that, you know, he struck out 4 times or whatever in a game. He didn't make a big deal about it. That's just part of this game, man. This is going to happen. And so putting him in the middle of the lineup since we've done that, it's really stretched us out and made us a pretty complete lineup.
Do you give any thought to Trey stealing home there?
No. I mean, we're not afraid to steal home. We've done it this year, but no, I didn't. No, not in that situation.
Dave, you talked earlier in the week about postseason crowds, kind of a different weekend, having an extra game. What did you think today? I mean, at 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, and it was pretty jacked up.
I told Sean on the post-game radio, man, I was impressed. I don't want to make it sound like I doubted our fans, but I get it, man. They got lives, they've got families, they've got jobs, they've got responsibilities, and you don't find out till Sunday night, or some people might not even have found out till this morning that we're playing at 1 o'clock. Because even when we left here last night, it was kind of up in the air. Maybe they'll move the game time, and I wanted to make sure our fans knew we put in 6 o'clock on Monday night. I would never put in 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. We put in 6, and that's what we played in the past. We've played a couple Monday night games here in the regionals, but they moved it. TV moved it to 1, and I'm grateful for TV. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought, oh man, 1 o'clock, and that was a good showing today. Like I said, as a coach, I said it before the regional, and I'm even more proud of our fan base after.
Coach, I know you don't know who you're going to play in the Super Regional yet, but just how do you, from your perspective as a coach, how do you move on to the Super Regional now?
It's all about preparation. It's why I love this time of the year where we just get to practice, and you got to be smart. Coming out of the conference tournament, we were in a different place with a different amount of time. Now here we are Monday afternoon, and not knowing if we're playing Friday or Saturday yet. So just be smart. Just got to have a balance of each team is different, and how do you keep them going? How do you keep them on their edge and keep them sharp?
2 more questions.
What did you say to Trey after the error?
I just put my arm around him, just let him know, hey, just as I said, let's not live and die off of one play. It was a tough play. It was a sinking. I think outfielders know the toughest ball is the line drive right at them. And probably for a center fielder, that's the toughest play. Now, is he going to say he should have caught it? Yeah, and I don't blame him. I mean, all outfielders and center fielders in our program should say that they're going to catch that ball. But that is the toughest play, the one right at them. Because like he said, he couldn't tell how hard it was hitting. He didn't realize it was sinking as much as it did. And so I just tried to calm him down and remind him that he was in the 2-hole, and you can help us. Just help the team. Make this about the team. I think that's what this group does a great job of. I think the more you make it about others, if you listen to Dr. Elko's Monday Morning Cup this morning, and if anybody listened to it, you should go on his website. It was all about serving others. It was all about, when you make it about others, how much more enjoyable life is. And that's why I try to get these kids to just continue to make it about each other. If you make it about yourself, man, then you have the highs and the lows. And that's just not a fun world to live in. It's a lot more enjoyable when you're doing it for each other.
1 more.
What do you think about the support that the players, the fans, and social media has for Michael McAvee while he's serving his suspension?
Well, I'm not on social media, as my regulars know here, but I'm assuming that they're supporting him. And I saw that sign on the bridge, what was it, free Mike or something. I didn't notice it till a player pointed it out to me. I think it's great. I think our fan base should love our kids, even when they make mistakes. I think we have to understand. I get it, the media. I get it. Sometimes they could be a little hard, But as we talk about being professional, they're not professionals. They're amateurs. They're in college. And what I've learned in college, I did it myself. I still do it today. Competition brings out the very best and the very worst in people. You have to understand that. I mean, we're not choir boys here. I mean, we have our best. Man, in the competitive battle, we have our worst. And that's just part of it. I mean, that's what makes athletics so fun, but also so challenging. And, if I could, though, since we're wrapping up here, I definitely want to thank Alex Parker and Coach Ron Nischwitz. Thank you for, these guys work long hours, and they get a lot thrown at them to run these regionals, and there's a lot of dynamics to it. Conference calls all weeks and trying to get everything online. So I always appreciate these guys that take time out of their lives to support NCAA college baseball. Of course, our very own Tuto, Danny Placencia. You talk about putting in a lot of work. We can't run these great events without him. And then I got to give just a couple shout outs to my family. My younger brother Alan and his beautiful wife Julia had a son last week, Ryan Joseph, and 2 years ago we were in Omaha and they had their daughter. So there's something about they like to have kids while we're in the postseason. But I want to dedicate this weekend to Scott Strong. Scott's a family member who passed away yesterday. And Scott and his wife and kids would have been here if he weren't in the hospital. And he never missed a regional. He never missed those big rivalry games. He never missed big Sunday games. And I'm just praying with a name like Strong that Kyle and Matt and Renee and that family is strong, because it was sad not having Scott here this weekend, and I just want to make sure I dedicate